Hello, Bill. Great to catch up with you again. I'd like to begin, if I may, with your project in Belize. On the 2nd of August, you announced signing a farm-out agreement with Thermosource International. Could you talk us through the significance of this, please?
The significance of the agreement with Thermosource is tremendous to us. Basically, what we've done is we've farmed out on a wellbore basis. What it's done is it's reduced our cost to the drilling contractor by 25%, or in real terms, somewhere in the region of about $1 million. We tendered out our work to 4 drilling contractors, and the response we got from Thermosource International was very, very strong. That is, to take a 5% working interest position for a 25% reduction in cost. Thermosource has looked at this. They've looked at this technically. They've looked at the CPRs in Belize. We've met with Thermosource many times, and their largest shareholder in Houston, who is also an international investment company, and got a real strong vote of confidence from them with respect to their willingness to participate in us. So basically what we're doing is we're taking a $10 million well cost down to about a $6.5–7 million well cost at this point. We're just finalizing our bidding process. It may actually drop further below that.
Bill, I believe rig mobilisation has commenced. You are on target to drill your first well in Belize, Beecrest, in October. If this well is a success, could you take us through the next stage in the process?
Yes, indeed, rig mobilization has commenced. Mobilization is active and in process. The planned start date, or what we call spud date, of the first well will be in early October. Our target is October the 1st, so it'll be somewhere between the 1st and the 10th, somewhere in there. I'm expecting. We have the drill site made in Belize. We have bid out about 75 to 80% of goods and services, signed purchase orders and or contracts with providers, and the whole process is in motion. Ideally, what you do in this situation is you mobilize your rig in, and you have your goods and services arrive at about the same time, so there's little or no standby cost. Quite a challenge when you're drilling in a frontier area like Belize, but it's not one that's foreign to us. We've done this sort of thing many times in the past. If this well is a success, the next stage in the process will be to move the rig down to West Gallen Jug while we're waiting on a 3D crew to show up at Beecrest. And what we'll do is pick up a second rig and move up to A, because it has the same structural geology. They're actually pretty close lookalikes, and they look very similar to the Mike Usher number 1, which is producing about 1,200 barrels a day out of Spanish Lookout. Like I said, the timing of migration relative to trap formation, if that works in Beecrest, due to the proximity of A, it should work there as well. A 3D over Beecrest will help reclassify our volumes ultimately into the proven categories. And we'll want much higher definition to have less doubt on those estimated ultimate recoverable volumes. So hence the 3D.
Would the 92 million barrels be assigned to the proven and probable reserves category or contingent resource?
Okay, the 92 million barrels assigned to Beecrest today is a figure reported in the latest CPR by RPS Energy Services. That's to the base of the Y2. That doesn't take us all the way down to the Jurassic, although the Beecrest well is targeted to drill to a total depth to the base of the Y2. Once we drill a well and determine that we've got movable hydrocarbon, basically what we'll do is we'll see immediately the entire prospective resource volume be reclassified to contingent resources, meaning that RPS, our competent person, will need to see a government-approved field development program with an oil sales contract in hand. Once we have those, then volumes will be reclassified into the proven and probable reserves category.
How long would it take to get into production and start generating revenue?
It'll be mid-13 next year, where we'll have a facility in place and a mechanism or an apparatus that's designed to maximize our oil price net back to the wellhead and geared up to ramp up production and handle the ramp up production for the purposes of maximizing oil sales. So it'll be mid-13 when we get that point.
Can you explain the benefits of being structurally higher than neighbouring fields, Spanish Lookout and Never Delay?
Yeah, the benefits are largely that you have little or no risk of being drained by these offset producers. That's really the main benefit of being structurally high.
Bill, moving on to your second project, the productive Jutland onshore licence in southern western Denmark. You now have formal approval from the Danish Energy Authority, the assignment of an initial 12.5% working interest in licences 109 and 209. You are embarking on a second phase of seismic acquisition. What do you expect to achieve from this, and when can investors expect an update on the CPR?
We've shot 55 kilometers over 209, and we're confirming a seismic response to gas. The reason for that is to further de-risk 209. We're at 1 and 8 right now. We'd like to get it down to a 1 and 5. The CPR release this summer has indicated a seismic response to gas in the P50 category of 748 BCF. That's 3/4 of a TCF of gas. What we'd like to do is get that risk down to a 1 in 5 and have multiple locations to maximize our chances of making a discovery out there. It's being processed now, and it will find its way into a CPR update that we'll announce, or at least intend to announce, by the second or third week of September. 109 is where we're planning to shoot a 3D over the Ensign prospect. This is a carbonate prospect in the Zechstein, a little bit deeper, hence justifying the 3D. We expect to be acquiring that 3D certainly by the fourth quarter of this year. It may happen sooner, and the result there being to further de-risk, just like 209, and confirm the volumetrics of 60 million barrels recoverable in that field. 109 3D over the Ensign prospect will pick up another 12.5% working interest.
Great. Sorry, and when do you expect the update on that?
On phase 2 in Denmark, we're not going to release an update for the Triassic prospects at the same time as the Zechstein prospects, because it takes a little bit longer to mobilize in a 3D crew, to acquire the 3D, and we feel that the volumetrics are so significant on 209 that we've focused on further de-risking that by acquiring that data sooner and getting it into a CPR update sooner. So what we're going to be doing for phase 2 is releasing 2 CPR updates, one for 209 and one for 109. 209 should be released by the second or third week of September, 109 by the end of the year. We hope to have drillable prospects there at a 1 in 5, in the third, fourth quarter of this year. So we're real excited about it, and every indication points to, at this stage, that there are no surprises. We are headed in the direction that we've set out to achieve.
Thank you, Bill. Do you have a message for shareholders?
Yes, I do. The message to shareholders are we're getting to the answer. We're getting to the answer both in Belize and Denmark in short order. As we speak, we're mobilizing in a rig to Belize, where we'll start our first well in October, and we hope to start a second well by the end of the year, and certainly have the results of that by Q1 of next year. In Danica Jutland, we've had a direct hydrocarbon indication of gas response to seismic. We're very excited about the future months coming at us at Danica Jutland. We're going to be talking about our partners about potentially drilling earlier in Jutland than is determined in the license agreement and agreed in the license agreement. In Danica Resources, we're finishing up our first phase 1 seismic program, and we're well on our way to de-risking our prospects there where we have 22 leads and prospects. I don't know of another exploration company out there that's as focused on de-risking and finding oil and gas reserves as we are. I mean, I challenge our shareholders to find someone who's more focused in that regard. But I will say this. I'm not pitting ourselves off against other oil and gas companies. I stand behind our team 100%. These are the best exploration and production people I've ever worked with in my entire career. And we are focused on one thing: transacting for, exploring, and responsibly producing oil and gas reserves. So I ask everyone just to stay tuned, watch us carefully, because we're going to be moving fast the next 12 months, and God willing, with good results. Thanks, Steve.